All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 26 of Let's Kung Fu. As always, I am your host, Damon Knight, and today we're going to continue something we started about 2 weeks ago with Dave Irwin. We are going to interview another one of the super awesome volunteer admins of the After Hours Gaming League. We're going to be talking to Emily Yan, who is kind of the League of Legends representation, I feel like, from the admin group. And hopefully she will have awesome and interesting things to say. You can all learn a little bit more about, what we're doing. We're not just plotting the downfall of human civilization. We're actually trying to make a video game league happen here. So I'm bouncing over here, and Emily, if you want to say hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Did you enjoy your intro?
Yeah, it's true. I am the sole League of Legends representative on the AHGL's volunteer coordinators. So, yep, I think a lot about how we can improve the League of Legends community awareness, especially since Day 9 does not really play League of Legends, so people who follow Day 9 don't necessarily get AHGL lol from that. So.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks for agreeing to come on. I know we had a lot of fun picking on Dave and considering leaving him hanging out there as the only one interviewed, but I'm sure he'll be pleased that he's not the only one anymore.
I still think we should have tricked him.
Oh my! All right, so we'll just jump right on in. Start off with the very first question that I emailed you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? All that good stuff.
Well, my name is Emily. If you watched the first Red Bull land from PAX, you might recognize me from Day 1, as I got called up by Day 9 to rain nuclear catastrophe on the poor players. So, yeah, that is my little bit of internet claim to fame. My day job is a software developer. I work at Microsoft. I specifically work at Xbox on a lot of the video streaming content. So your YouTube, your Hulu, your Netflix for Xbox, that's stuff I work on. So.
That's awesome. How long have you been interested in esports?
I want to say that started a couple years ago. So originally I sat next to one of the guys on my team he watches a ton of Day 9. And I was just sitting there working and I just heard him all of a sudden laughing a lot. He just burst out laughing. It was at some point I finally went, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "You've got to watch this video." And it was a Day 9 Fun Day Monday. And so I watched it. I don't remember which one it was, but I do agree that it was really funny. I got a huge kick out of it. So that's when I started watching Fun Day Mondays and Day 9 in general. And, I got hooked, especially since I believe the next episode was Uniden! So, yeah, that's what got me. And this eventually led me to watching GSL, and, I just really enjoyed being able to learn about StarCraft 2 without actually having playing it. But slowly that evolved to me actually playing League of Legends, and then so I looked for a similar scene, and I discovered that there are lots of streamers who stream League of Legends, and yeah, I got hooked.
Cool. So, what is your favorite video game, and why?
Well, clearly I like League of Legends. I wouldn't be helping out with AHGL and League of Legends without it. Other than that, I like. My DS, I like playing Zelda. On my phone, I like playing, some people know it as Scramble. On the Windows Phone, it's Wordament, and it's in an online Boggle-style game. So I've always really enjoyed that. There's something very soothing about looking for word patterns. So, yeah, that's... I think other things that I enjoy playing are, on the Xbox is, currently I'm playing Mark of the Ninja. It's a Xbox Live Arcade game. That's pretty fun. I think it's pretty subtle, but otherwise I like Assassin's Creed. I like Dance Social, so I'm not so good with first-person shooters.
I've got to be honest, I'm pretty terrible at them. At least on a console. If you give me a keyboard and mouse, I will tear it up, but I can't do analog sticks.
You know, the analog sticks never really got me that much, but yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm just really slow with my reaction times. You know, you're supposed to increase your sensitivity, but then I just miss my person. And I also don't do inverted, so every time somebody just gives me a controller, I'm like, I can't play. Hold on, I need to change my settings.
All right. Let's see. What are some of the other fun questions before we really get into the deep stuff? Uh, do, do, do. Yeah, here we go. What is your favorite video game related story that you can kind of share with everybody from your personal experience?
Okay, so I did have to think about this one, and I think this will be something that everybody will enjoy. And the reality is that I'm like really, really bad at StarCraft. Like, not even just a little bit bad. I was like terror bad back in high school. So my friends were like, "Hey, Emily, let's just play, StarCraft." And I told them, I was like, "Hey, guys, I'm really bad." And I'm like, "Oh no, it's just fine. It'll just be us versus AI, so it won't be that bad." I was just like, "But I'm really bad. Like, just play." So I play with them, and at a certain point, the computer Archon has like wandered over towards my base, and I don't like know the hit points or units or counters or anything, right? But all I've played as Terran is because that's like the first campaign you go through in StarCraft 1. So I take a Vulture and like maybe like 4 or 5 Marines, and I start trying to attack this Archon. And of course it's not dying, right? And so I get really frustrated, and at some point over the call, I was just like, why isn't the stupid big blue glowing thing dying? And my friends are like, what? And they all go look at like where I am, and they see, this one vulture and now like several dead marines trying to attach the Archon, and they just all start laughing, and I'm like, oh gosh. They're like, Emily, you can't kill it with that. You need more. And I was like, well, I'm sorry. So yeah, that is my embarrassing story.
I'm pretty sure we've all been there at least once.
I don't know. All you guys play StarCraft 2, and you're kind of like ranking up there, and I'm going to be the little scrub on the floor who's like, yeah.
I don't know. At some point we were all new to StarCraft, right?
It's okay. My coworker has trained me. My coworker is now a Masters player, and the one that I used to sit next to that was watching Day9, and he's trained me, so I can at least like macro with some decency. So when we
Excellent.
play online multiplayer, I'm not a total scrub. I just give him lots of units, and I'm like, okay, I can't do anything else.
Very nice. Let's see. My standard pointless question, which is what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
African or European?
There you go. See, I wasn't sure with you because I figured you would research it, but at the same time, you don't get any reference that we make as an admin group ever, so.
This one I actually did know. This one I have watched before.
Good, good. I was worried that you were going to be like Googling for it and confused and giving me funny looks.
No, I knew that one.
All right, so now all the remaining questions are more actual questions here.
Okay.
So how did you first hear about the AHGL?
I first heard about it because one of my coworkers, like I said, he was playing a lot of StarCraft 2, and then all of a sudden he pointed me to this article. He was like, "Hey, look!" And it was our internal Microsoft website that has a bunch of articles, and one of them was all about HGL and how it was going to be like Microsoft versus Google, blah blah blah. And I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I looked at him and I was like, "So why aren't you part of this?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't know about it." And I was like, "Oh." So that's how I first heard about it, and then. For the League of Legends side, then I found out pretty much right before registration closed that this group even existed. So I was invited by one of my friends to play in an in-house, and it was all Microsofties, and I was like, okay, I don't know anything about these guys. And they're just like, oh yeah, we're practicing for AHGL, and I was like, wait, like, which AHGL? Like, Day9's AHGL? Isn't that like StarCraft 2 AHGL? And they're like, oh, but they're doing League of Legends. And I was like, wait, I'm still confused. But, I ended up hanging out with them and practicing with them a lot. And eventually, at mid-season change, I ended up officially being on the roster because enough people dropped down. They're like, well, you've done all this stuff for us, Emily. Like, why don't you be on the official roster? I'm like, okay, cool.
Finally got to get some validation, right?
Yeah, a little bit. It's just like, hey, look, I'm legit now. Because every other time, I'm just like, guys, I'm not like officially a part of the team. When you're inviting me all to these like AHGL things, they're like, oh, well, you might as well be. And I'm like, but I'm not. And they're just like, no, just come. And I'm like, okay.
So, why did you decide to get involved with kind of running or helping with the admin work and all that of running the HGL?
Because quite honestly, that's almost what I care more about. So when I was helping out with the Microsoft side, I was actually starting to do a lot of the admin stuff for the Microsoft team. Like, I just really wanted our Microsoft LoL team to be as successful as the SC2 team because I was like, dude, we've got to represent. In Season 1, Microsoft took it home. So clearly we have to do something on the LoL side. So I was like, okay, so what I started doing is just helping out by being a ref. I was, reporting a lot of scars, coordinating a lot of things, and I was just being, Microsoft AHGL admin almost, and then eventually just transitioned to helping out in the league in general when I noticed last year, the guy who was running HGL from the Day 9 side, he was clearly overwhelmed, and I was just like, well, this totally makes sense to me. There's like 2 people trying to coordinate, 40 some odd teams. Yeah, you're gonna have to cut him some slack. So I tried to help out as much as I could. So when they pinged me and they're just like, hey, do you want to help out, like, run this season? I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I think there was a lot of improvements that could have been seen through, and if I can help make my voice be heard, then all the better.
Awesome. What's your favorite part about working with the HGL?
I think just the fact that I'm helping to bring esports to, a corporate level, it's really cool, right? It's one of those things where it's like, oh, we want to grow esports awareness and we want to make all these things happen. And it's just like, yeah, well, I'm actively taking a part of that. I'm doing something about it. So, I don't know. I just love the opportunity. And you guys are cool too.
What would you say the biggest challenge has been so far with getting Season 3 going?
I think at first we didn't really know what we were doing because, we're all getting together. We're just like, hey, great, let's party at a Skype call. And I remember the first call was like, so I don't know what's been discussed. I hadn't been there in the beginning. And, I don't know what's been discussed. I don't know what's going on. And what is your timeline? What do you want to do? Et cetera, et cetera. And, at a certain point I was like, well, it's great that we're having all these discussions, but if you want to, like, start the season, then that means registration needs to open. If we need to open registration, that means we, like, need to get all these other things wrapped up and put together. So, there's just a lot of details to take care of, and I just spend, like, a long time thinking about a lot of different problems. I try to keep a running list just of all the things I'm thinking about and strategies that need to be defined, and, I still have a day job too, so it's not like I get to only do this all the time. So it's a lot of work, but I find it fun at least. So.
So I'm actually going to give everyone else a little bit of backstory here. So initially, when we started, getting ready for Season 3, it was a core group of us, and all of us were StarCraft people. 100% StarCraft people. We had no League of Legends representation. And we kept having these calls, and we were going, hey, well, what about League of Legends? And we would all just kind of go, I don't know, we'll figure that out later, we'll figure that out later, we'll figure that out later. And eventually we go, you know what, we need to get someone who is from the League side, who can help us out, and tell us what the world is going on. And so, I want to say it was probably Dave, said, well, hey, what about Emily? And we kept talking about it. It was like, yeah, we really got to get her in on these calls. And honestly, like, it was the best decision as a group that I feel like we've made to date. We were getting absolutely nothing done. There was so little coordination. Emily is a master organizer. If nothing else, I'm going to give you full credit for that, because there was a whole lot of talking and, like, no deadlines. No, these are things that are going to get done. So, yes, I have to give you, huge props on that one.
Thanks.
So anyone who watches this, if you ever see Emily and you were happy for season 3, thank her.
If you're not happy about season 3, blame somebody else.
Yeah, you can blame me or Dave. Blame Dave. He's our scapegoat. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? So what is something that you personally think would be cool to see in a future AHGL season?
I think there's a lot of ideas for future AHGLs that has been tossed around, and I think they're all really cool. We've talked about, for example, wouldn't it be cool to get more of the pros involved? So they themselves are also helping to contribute back to the community by talking with working folks and getting that support and just getting larger integration from the company level to help out with esports. But me personally, it's not so much about like a future AHGL season as I really, really want to see the point where I can tell anybody that's working, hey, I help out with HGL, and people are like, oh, I know what that is. Like, if I can hit that point, I'll be so happy. Like, everybody would know HGL is like where you come for corporate esports.
I'd be happy if I could just get everyone at Palantir to know what the HGL is.
Well, right now we've got it to the point where most people at Microsoft who play League and StarCraft 2 are a little bit more on board. League is a little bit harder because it's very distributed and people pick up League just randomly and don't realize that there's an alias. But slowly but surely, we're working our way into it, and so.
Awesome. So what do your friends and family and all those folks, what do they think about the HGL and your involvement in it and all that kind of stuff?
Well, my friends who are gamers think it's pretty cool. They're all just like, wow, you get to help out with that? Like, I wish I could help with that. I'm like, I don't know. It's a lot of work, guys. It's not like I'm just playing around. So, but they do think it's cool. And my parents, they don't really have a concept about what's going on. They just know that season 2 finals are something I flew back down to LA for because, I'm originally from LA. So I visited my parents, and they were just like, wait, what are you here for? And I was like, oh, a gaming thing. And they're like, a gaming thing? And I was like, yeah. And I just left it at that. But pretty much everyone just wonders how I have the time. I actually do a lot of different activities, and so HGL is just one of the things I contribute my time to. And everyone else is like, wait, you do all these other things, and you do this thing, and you tell me how much time HGL takes? And I'm like, well, yeah. And they're like, oh, you're weird, Emily. You're crazy.
I might support them on the crazy notion.
You think I don't sleep.
That's true. I think you're a cyborg.
I'm not a cyborg.
We've covered this. Do you have any special predictions for season 3?
I have to be honest, I actually don't have very many special predictions. I actually don't even know what's been going on with the even the Microsoft League of Legends team because I've completely checked out. I knew that if I was super involved in the trial process, I'd be way too involved with that. I had to take a step back. So I specifically don't know what's going on at Microsoft. I do know that in general, a lot of League teams are getting stronger. Having talked with some of my friends over from the EA side, and I know for the little I've talked with the Microsoft captain, I know that we're recruiting some good talent. So I expect everything is going to be a little bit stronger and a little bit more competitive this season. So hopefully it'll be props all around.
Awesome. Why should people tune in to watch this season?
Why not? It's so cool. No, I think what it is that, HGL is growing and we're getting more people on board, and we're even, and it'll even be more competitive, right? We've got this concept of having A versus B League, and that's already putting so much more equal footing, because I think some people's complaints were just like, dude, it's not exciting to watch. You watch a game and it's like, well, if it's a stomp, how is that exciting? Or what is the compelling reason to watch AHGL? It's like, well, at this time, we're trying to, have more even playing fields across the board. And I think that's going to be really compelling to most people. So, yeah, tune in. And we have listened to your feedback, obviously, about Season 2. And we're taking a lot of the advice. We're trying to be... we're trying to make sure that we have timely web content and lots of good deliverables for you. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll be putting more stuff on the blog as we get ready to announce stuff.
And since I've been deleting questions as I asked them, I discovered that I missed one earlier,
Okay.
which is the all-important, who is your favorite figure in the esports community?
Oh, I see. Well, I will always, of course, have a special place in my heart for Day9. So, because that's where I got started, and obviously, I like him a lot as a caster, and he's just he's very dynamic and is very engaging. So, on the League of Legends side, since that is mostly where I spend all my time now, I actually mod a lot of the channels for streamers. So if you've seen the tag Delphyr anywhere, that's who I am. And I definitely appreciate all all the streamers that I get to mod for, and I find that a lot of fun. But I probably talk the most to Afromo and Toy, so special heart goes out to them as well.
Great. Well, I mean, that's all of my official questions, but if there's anything else that you kind of want to say to everybody or mention about the league or anything else, this is your opportunity.
I don't think I really had much to talk about. I think just in general that, yeah, I'm really excited to be helping out. Don't be afraid to contact any of us if you have ideas or ways that you can pitch in. And everyone can be, like an AHGL champion in a way, spread the word, help. We're still in, registration season, so you can help people get on board and start an HGL team. And the more companies, the better, really. Like, just get everyone involved and get everyone around you excited. So, yeah, hope to be meeting a bunch of you during the season.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck. I'm sure Microsoft will represent once again.
We'll definitely do our best.
Awesome. I'm going to drop you off the call and do my little exit speech here to the wonderful folks watching. But thanks again.
All right, sounds good. Night.
Okay, so that was Emily. And I'll even go ahead and take off my headphones because I don't need them anymore, because this is a lie. I'm actually talking to my microphone that's on my webcam. The headset's just so I can hear her. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for tonight's episode. I actually completely forget who we're having on next. But next week is going to be another one of these really awesome After Hours Gaming League interviews. I really hope you tune in. And as soon as I remember who it is, I'll make sure I post on Facebook. But there's a sufficiently large number of us that I just don't remember who I have scheduled for what week. As always, you guys can send me feedback, feedback@letskungfu.com, or reach out to me on Facebook or Twitter or wherever. And make sure you check out the After Hours Gaming League. You can get there either at ahgl.tv or afterhoursgaming.tv. Season 3 should be really exciting, and that's all I've got for you guys. I will talk to you all again next week. Hopefully my closing credits work today.